The producers of Harvesting Happiness podcast proudly present Positively Contagious, the mental health survival kit for the COVID-19 pandemic. Positively Contagious with Lisa Cypers Kamen and Andrea Mengele features tips and tools for staying sane and emotionally fit while sheltering in place. Give us 9 minutes or less, and we'll give you smart and simple strategies for your well-being. This is Lisa Cypers Kamen, host of Harvesting Happiness, and producer Andrea Mengele in the house for another episode of Positively Contagious. Tools and tips for things that you can do to help yourself and your family and your loved ones stay happier and healthier during the COVID-19 epidemic. Today we're talking about solid nutrition, that we are what we eat, in fact. And many of us might look at this period of time when we are socially isolated and when we are in quarantine, some of us, if we're fighting the virus, as a license to have a nutritional free-for-all, right? This is not the time to fill your gullet with ice cream and trashy food. No.
Yeah, that defeats the purpose.
Yes. We're talking about being creative with the food that you're able to get, making nutritious meals for your family, getting your family engaged in the food prep, even if they've never been in the kitchen. Invite them to a new place in the house. Woohoo! Imagine that.
It's a whole new room.
It's a whole new room in the house. So let's talk about ways that you and I have been maintaining solid nutrition in the household. Give us a recipe that you've recently made.
Well, it's something very simple. Iron is also a very important element in maintaining good health. And not everyone in my household is akin to having beef, which is, a typical way to get iron, especially that all-important hemi iron. So when I make lemonade, I add spinach to it. And it turns this, from what I've researched, the vitamin C helps that iron that's in spinach to be absorbed more readily. So I throw in a few handfuls. I throw lemons in my blender and filtered water, and we tend to lean more towards using stevia. One of our household members has type 2, so we're cognizant of our sugar intake. And I throw in a few handfuls of spinach. It turns this gorgeous emerald green color. Now, I do let it sit for a few moments because it forms a bit of a foam on top. And once that foam goes down, you have this gorgeous emerald green drink that looks beautiful in a glass. And if you sat there and dwell on it for a moment, so you can taste the spinach a little bit, but it really, the lemonade still tastes great. Even my 8-year-old loves it, and he's a little on the particular side. And so we're getting those greens. And it's also, if you have spinach that's maybe on its way out, that's a good way to use it.
I want to just add something to that. Not only does that sound amazing, and it makes my mind run wild with other adult beverage opportunities, but I also think about the availability of spinach in the frozen section. It does seem in most markets that frozen spinach is kind of the last thing to leave the shelves. So this is a good way to get some vegetables in the diet. I love this. You're a sneaky little devil, though.
Well, and I have to tell you, I've not tried it with frozen spinach. I've only used it with fresh. But when I went to the market the last time, that was one of the few things that were left in the produce section.
Right?
Well, and it's also, from what I understand, in what I've read online, it's also an important element for maintaining positive mental health as well.
Oh, and we need that. We all need that, regardless of where you are on the planet at the moment. We all need good mental health.
Yeah.
Well, one of my go-to things is banana bread. I have been making banana bread every 2 or 3 days because we might not be able to get, perfectly perky bananas, but there are always sad ones, it seems, available in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So I'm making that, and that gives a lot of potassium. It gives fiber. We have either reduced or eliminated sugar from it and substituted with other things like applesauce and maple syrup, and have been experimenting with that.
Oh, yeah.
So That's pretty healthy. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that I think that really should be mentioned in the pursuit of solid nutrition is the importance of the family dinner, or sitting down to the meal and not just gulping it in front of the TV.
Yes, and having that time for connection. When we do that in our household, we don't allow devices at the table. My husband and I don't answer the phone either. And we turn the television off from the news or shows. We will have music on in the background, maybe, from Amazon Prime Music or something on iHeart. And then we just talk.
Yeah, talk. Imagine that, talk. Yeah. We do that too. We put on classical music because I have an elderly family member in my household. We put on candles. We treat that 45 minutes as sacred time, and slow the pace down. That is also part of nutrition. You get more from your food if you take the time to slow down and chew it thoroughly. It makes the digestion easier. You get more of the nutrients from the food itself. And I think the variety, it's important to mention that when things may be limited, to try and mix it up a little bit as best as possible.
Yes. And, I know in previous episodes of Harvesting Happiness, we had Dr. Emmerin Mayer on, who in gut health. And in some of the reading that I've done from his research, having a variety of foods feeds that gut health. And it feeds it in different ways.
Yes, the gut health is super important. And I have to say, I'm going to be a little bit crass here, that when we are anxious and when we are emotionally upset, the plumbing may not work as well as it used to.
Yeah.
So it's important to keep the roughage, keep the fluids, keep eating, if it's not fresh fruit, that we eat frozen fruit, or even dry fruit as another option, prunes, raisins, things like that. To keep the flora and the fauna of our intestines strong. For those of us who are ambitious, you could make an attempt to make, yogurt at home. I have not done it, so there's a disclaimer here, but I don't think it's very, very hard to do.
No, and there are several different ways to do it. I've actually done it in my crock pot, and I've also done it in, I think it's called 3 Squares. Now, I haven't used it for a long time. It's a kind of like an Instapot type thing that I have, but there are many different ways to do it.
Dang, you're like a farm woman over there. Well, you kind of get the gist, what we're talking about, to eat well in order to be well. This is Lisa Cypers Kamen, host of Harvesting Happiness, and producer Andrea Mingeli, wishing you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay humorous. We will be back with another episode of Positively Contagious to celebrate Coronation and offer you tips for managing the health crisis that we are undergoing for your upliftment and benefit.
Yes, take care and be healthy.
Thanks for joining us on this special episode of Positively Contagious. This is Lisa Cypers Kamen and producer Andrea Mingeli signing off for now. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive. Don't forget to tune in for our regular consciously prepared brain food on Harvesting Happiness, wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Harvesting Happiness consulting services, please visit harvestinghappiness.com. Get social with us on Facebook at Harvesting Happiness, on Twitter at HH Talk Radio, and on Instagram at HH_Talk Radio.